You've got this creation of a kind of whole mythology which starts to become a real, quote-unquote, religion.
A secret obsession, whispered among the highest ranks of the Third Reich, drove them to the far corners of the planet. Beyond the roar of tanks and the terror of bombings, a shadowy war for mythical power was raging. The Nazis, gripped by bizarre occult beliefs and a twisted sense of destiny, dispatched expeditions to unearth ancient secrets.
By reawakening the old gods and the ancient traditions of their Germanic ancestors, they hoped to create a new order that would dominate Europe for the next 1,000 years.
These weren't mere historical curiosities. They were believed to be keys to invincibility, to a legendary Aryan past, and to a dominion that would last 1,000 years. The very fate of their empire, they believed, hinged on these lost items. This is the unbelievable truth about 5 ancient secrets the Nazis desperately sought. 1. The Holy Lance. The air in Vienna in 1912 was thick with attention few recognized, but one young, aspiring artist named Adolf Hitler felt it deep in his bones. Standing before the Hofburg Palace, he wasn't looking at masterpieces of art or grand architecture. His gaze was fixed, you see, on a simple ancient spear housed within the imperial treasury. This wasn't just any spear. It was, many believed, the Holy Lance, also known as the Spear of Destiny, the very weapon said to have pierced the side of Jesus Christ during his crucifixion. But not all things are what they seem. For Hitler, this wasn't merely a religious artifact. It was an object of almost supernatural power, an ancient secret whispered to grant its owner invincibility, and the power to shape the world, for better or for worse. He felt a powerful connection, a sense of destiny, gazing upon it. The historical weight of the lance is immense. Legend claims it had been wielded by emperors from Constantine the Great to Charlemagne, each conqueror supposedly achieving their monumental victories while possessing the spear. It was said to be a conduit of divine might, a tangible link to ultimate authority. The thing nobody tells you is, this belief wasn't just some fringe idea. It was a potent myth woven into European history for centuries, making it incredibly appealing to a regime obsessed with destiny, power, and a fabricated ancient heritage. The Nazis, especially the higher-ups like Heinrich Himmler, were crazy about establishing a mystical lineage for their regime, connecting it to powerful historical figures and divine sanction. The Holy Lance fit perfectly into this twisted narrative. When Germany annexed Austria in 1938, one of Hitler's first commands was not for military installations or political arrests, but for the immediate transfer of the Holy Lance to Nuremberg, a city deeply symbolic to the Nazi movement. This wasn't a casual move. It was a desperate act of acquiring what he considered a vital magical artifact. To put it mildly, the spear was treated with reverence bordering on worship. It was locked away in St. Catherine's Church, under heavy guard, believed to be a cornerstone of their power. The psychological impact of possessing such a legendary object, for both the leaders and the faithful, was probably immeasurable. It legitimized their megalomaniac ambitions, fueling their belief in an unstoppable future. This focus on an artifact that was thousands of years old shows a deep, almost childlike need for something beyond human strength to guide their path. Imagine a modern army, the most technologically advanced of its time, still placing such faith in a relic from antiquity. It's truly mind-blowing. What other incredible objects might they have been after? Objects with even stranger tales. 2. Agartha. The notion of a hollow earth with a hidden, sunlit inner world called Agartha sounds like something straight out of a Jules Verne novel. But for the highest ranks of the Nazi regime, this wasn't fiction. It was a deadly serious pursuit, an obsession deeply tied to their twisted racial ideology. Many people are crazy about conspiracy theories, but this was a state-sponsored one, with real expeditions launched and immense resources committed. But here's the shocking truth. This wasn't just a simple folktale they latched onto. It was a core pseudo-scientific belief, popularized by influential figures like Karl Haushofer, who whispered these ideas into the ears of Rudolf Hess and eventually Adolf Hitler. The core theory suggested that the Earth's interior wasn't a molten core, but instead contained vast, habitable continents and oceans, warmed by an inner sun. They believed advanced civilizations thrived in this hidden realm. The secret part of the story is how this connected to their obsession with an Aryan master race. Proponents of the Hollow Earth theory often intertwined it with the legends of Atlantis or Thule, which they believed were the true ancestral homelands of the Aryans. The idea was that these superior beings, possessing pure bloodlines and incredible knowledge, had retreated into the Earth's interior after a great cataclysm. There, in Agartha, they waited for the right moment to re-emerge and reclaim their rightful place as masters of the surface world. The Nazis believed that by locating the hidden entrances, supposedly at the North and South Poles, they could make contact. This wasn't just about finding new land. It was a desperate racial and spiritual quest to tap into ancient Aryan wisdom, hoping to find powerful technologies or divine guidance that would secure their global dominance. They were searching for a miracle, a technological shortcut from their supposed ancestors that would give them an unbeatable edge in the war. 3. Shambhala. The Nazi fascination with Shambhala is perhaps one of the most enigmatic aspects of their occult pursuits, extending their desperate search far beyond the West into the mystical heart of Asia. This mythical kingdom, often described in ancient Buddhist and Hindu texts, is said to be a spiritual paradise, a land of peace and hidden wisdom, tucked away in the remote mountains of Tibet. You see, the Ahnenerbe, under Himmler's direct command, was deeply involved in this quest. They were fanatically convinced that the pure Aryan race had originated in this region, and that by finding the gates to Shambhala, they could uncover the ultimate secrets of their ancestral past and tap into an unparalleled spiritual power. What many overlooked is the extent of their spiritual expeditions. In 1938, Himmler personally dispatched a major SS expedition to Tibet, led by Ernst Schaefer. While its official cover was a scientific mission to study local wildlife and culture, its true purpose, to put it mildly, was far more sinister. Schaefer and his team collected vast amounts of cultural data, but they also meticulously measured the skulls of hundreds of Tibetans, creating grotesque racial typologies in an attempt to find traces of their supposed Aryan ancestors. They explored esoteric Buddhist rituals, not for enlightenment, but for any signs or maps that could lead them to Shambhala's hidden knowledge. The thing nobody tells you is what they truly believed they would find there. Legends of Shambhala also speak of its king emerging with a powerful army to defeat evil. The Nazis twisted this prophecy for their own ends, hoping to unleash this spiritual force upon their enemies. The most shocking fact is that their hijacking of the swastika, an ancient symbol of good fortune in Asia, was a deliberate part of this plan, an attempt to create a false historical link to an Eastern power source. Their hunt for Shambhala was a desperate search for a magical superweapon, a final, mystical gambit to secure their thousand-year empire. They were also after a mythical city, one that vanished beneath the waves. 4. Atlantis. The legend of Atlantis, a technologically advanced island civilization said to have vanished beneath the waves, has captivated humanity for thousands of years. But for the Nazis, particularly those within the shadowy Ahnenerbe think tank, Atlantis was more than a captivating myth. It was considered the original homeland of the pure Aryan race. This belief, you see, was absolutely central to their pseudo-historical narrative. They were obsessed with finding proof of a superior, fair-skinned people who had achieved incredible feats before a catastrophic event wiped them from the map, providing a glorious ancient origin for their fabricated master race. If the Aryans were the direct descendants of the brilliant Atlanteans, then their claim to superiority and their right to rule the world seemed, in their warped logic, to be divinely ordained and historically predetermined. Theorists like Heinrich Himmler and Alfred Rosenberg avidly promoted the idea that Atlanteans possessed advanced knowledge far beyond our own, possibly even secret energy sources, anti-gravity flying craft, and the secrets of genetic purity, all lost to humanity after the Great Cataclysm. They believed that by locating the remnants of Atlantis, or even just its artifacts, they could recover this lost technology and re-establish the Aryan dominance they so desperately sought. The Ahnenerbe funded expeditions to places like Iceland and Tibet, examining megalithic structures and ancient scripts, twisting every discovery to fit their narrative. This wasn't just a historical quest. It was a desperate hunt for a superweapon hidden in the pages of mythology, a key to unlocking a past that would justify their horrific future. But there was one more relic that held unimaginable power for them, a chalice of legend. 5. The Holy Grail. Among the most enduring and captivating legends of all time is that of the Holy Grail, the chalice said to have been used by Jesus at the Last Supper and later to collect his blood at the crucifixion. For centuries, this sacred artifact has been sought by knights, kings, and adventurers, believed to grant immense spiritual power, healing, and even eternal life. But not all things are what they seem. The Nazis, ever opportunistic in their quest for ancient secrets and mythical power, also turned their attention to the Grail, seeing it not merely as a Christian relic, but as an ultimate source of power to be exploited. Many people are crazy about stories of King Arthur, and the Holy Grail is central to those tales of chivalry and magic. Heinrich Himmler, the head of the SS, was particularly obsessed with the Grail and the Arthurian legends. He saw the Grail as a powerful symbol of spiritual purity and invincibility, elements he desperately wanted to imbue into his SS order. Himmler established a dedicated research branch within the Ahnenerbe to investigate the Grail legend, poring over ancient texts and folklore. He even had a personal castle, Wewelsburg, designed with occult symbolism and intended to be a center for SS mysticism, a sort of Camelot for his twisted knights. For the Nazis, the Grail's power was less about Christian redemption and more about a pagan, life-giving force, a source of mystical energy that could sustain their master race and ensure their regime's longevity. The thing nobody tells you is that this was part of a larger effort to replace traditional Christianity with a neo-pagan, Aryan cult. They believed that if they could possess the Grail, they could unlock its secrets, perhaps even a form of spiritual or biological immortality, ensuring the perpetual dominance of their race. To put it mildly, their understanding was completely warped, twisting ancient myths for their own dark purposes. Expeditions, though not as direct as digging for the physical chalice, focused on regions steeped in Grail lore, like parts of France and Spain. Otto Rahn, an SS officer and self-proclaimed Grail expert, led several expeditions in the 1930s, notably to Montségur, a former Cathar stronghold in the Pyrenees. The Cathars were a medieval religious group persecuted by the Catholic Church, and Rahn believed they had guarded the Grail. He was convinced he was on the verge of uncovering its hiding place, fueled by Himmler's unwavering support and immense resources. The most shocking fact is that even as the war turned against them, the hunt for such relics continued, a testament to their unwavering, almost fanatical belief in these ancient secrets. The search for the Holy Grail reveals how deeply the Nazis delved into ancient myths, twisting them into tools for their horrific ideology. The Nazi quest for ancient secrets was more than a historical footnote. It was a core part of their terrifying ambition, fueled by a dangerous cocktail of power, pseudoscience, and mysticism. These hunts are a stark reminder of how easily leaders can manipulate history and myth to justify their actions, a pattern you can see everywhere, even today. To put it mildly, these weren't just treasure hunts. They were attempts to rewrite reality itself. This chilling chapter of the past offers a glimpse into the darkest corners of human ambition and delusion. But the ultimate question remains. Were they simply deluded men chasing shadows, lost in a labyrinth of their own twisted folklore? Or were they closer to uncovering something truly incredible, a power beyond our modern understanding than we can ever imagine? This haunting question continues to linger, blurring the line between madness and a mystery that was almost solved. So, what do you think? Were the Nazis merely deluded by ancient myths, or was there something truly powerful they almost unearthed? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more mind-blowing historical secrets.